The silence aboard the Odyssey was a physical thing, a thick blanket that pressed in from all directions. Elias Thorne floated in the observation deck, his breath fogging the viewport as he stared at the swirling nebula outside, clouds of gas and dust painted in impossible shades of violet and gold. For 3 years, he'd been alone, adrift in the deepest reaches of the known universe, his only companions the ghosts of Earth and the cold hum of the ship's life support. His mission was simple: find a habitable world or die trying. But as the days bled into months, the hope had curdled into something else, a quiet despair that settled in his bones like lead. He traced a finger over the console, the familiar weight of the ship's controls a fragile tether to sanity. Then, a flicker. Not the steady green of life support, but a frantic, crimson pulse across the communications array. His heart hammered against his ribs as he scrambled to the main terminal, fingers flying over the keyboard. A signal. Weak, garbled, but undeniably human. The transmission looped endlessly, a fragment of a voice cutting through the static. Asterisk. Repeat. This is the last transmission of the Starlight. We found it. The signal is real. They're coming. Asterisk. Elias's hands trembled as he worked to stabilize the feed, the words sending a jolt through him. The Starlight had been lost decades ago, swallowed by the void during the Great Exodus. He'd been a child then, sitting in a crowded bunker on Earth, listening to the frantic reports of ships fleeing the dying planet. Now, here it was, a ghost from the past, whispering secrets from the grave. He cross-referenced the coordinates, his breath catching as they aligned with the nebula outside. The signal wasn't just random noise. It was a beacon, pointing to something hidden in the heart of the cosmic storm. With a surge of adrenaline, he plotted a course, the Odyssey shuddering as it broke from its lonely drift. The ship plunged into the nebula, the viewport blurring into a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. Elias gripped the controls, his knuckles white as the Odyssey bucked against unseen forces. The signal grew stronger now, clearer, weaving through the chaos like a lifeline. They're not what we thought. They're not hostile. They're waiting. The words echoed in the cockpit, chilling him to the core. Waiting for what? He pushed the ship harder, the engines screaming as they fought against the nebula's gravitational pull. Then, through the swirling mists, a shape emerged. Not a planet, not a star, but something else. A structure vast and ancient, its surface gleaming like polished obsidian, floating serenely in the void. It pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light, a heartbeat in the darkness. Elias's breath hitched as he realized the truth. This wasn't a discovery. This was an invitation. The Odyssey drifted closer, the structure looming before him like a monolith from a forgotten age. Elias stared at the viewport, his reflection superimposed over the impossible sight. The transmission had stopped, replaced by a new sound, a low hum that vibrated through the ship's hull, resonating in his bones. He reached out, fingers brushing against the console, as if he could touch the mystery beyond the glass. Then, a voice, clear, calm, and utterly alien, spoke directly into his mind. Asterisk. You are not the one we expected. Asterisk. Elias recoiled, stumbling back from the terminal. The voice was ancient, timeless, yet it carried an echo of familiarity, a whisper of the humanity he'd lost. Asterisk. We have waited for millennia. For the one who would come to us, not the one who stumbled upon us by chance. Asterisk. A cold dread seeped into his veins as he realized the truth. The Starlight hadn't been lost. It had been found. Elias stood frozen as the structure pulsed around him, the hum rising to a crescendo. The voice in his mind softened, its ancient tone laced with something that might have been pity. Asterisk. You carry the weight of extinction, little human. Your kind sought refuge in the stars, only to find they were never meant to leave. Asterisk. The viewport flickered, and for a moment, Elias saw not the nebula, but Earth, burning, dying, a pale blue marble swallowed by fire. The transmission had been a lie, a trap. The Starlight hadn't found salvation, it had found the end. And now, so had he. The ship shuddered as the structure reached out, tendrils of light snaking toward the Odyssey, pulling it inexorably closer. Elias closed his eyes, the silence returning, but this time it was different. It wasn't empty. It was full of the ghosts of humanity and the cold, waiting embrace of the void.